At Dave Cooper Live, we connect the industry leaders in the architectural, engineering, and construction space with the people, the products, and the processes to help them build it better. All right, welcome everybody to Dave Cooper Live. What if I told you the future of data centers isn't just being built, it's being assembled, and that AI and sustainability aren't just buzzwords, they're driving forces of transformation. Today, we're pulling back the curtain with none other than Amy Marks, the queen of prefab. We're talking innovation, inspiration, industrialized construction. We're talking about impact. As Senior Vice President of Innovation at Compass Data Centers, Amy and the team are leading the charge in customizable, sustainable, and reliable data centers to serve hyperscale and cloud customers, transforming how we think about building digital infrastructure. And she's the event ambassador for the upcoming Advancing Prefabrication event in Phoenix, Arizona, in just a few short weeks. Basically, Amy has her finger on the pulse of what's next in prefab and modular and data centers. So buckle up because we're diving into the powerful combination of construction and technology. But first, I need to give a huge shout out to some of our amazing partners, Cobalt Creed. They are a heating and cooling system that are perfect fit for prefab. Cutting edge small duct energy efficiency central HVAC solution for homes and businesses where space is at a premium. Whether you're looking at optimized comfort or energy efficiency, Cobalt Creed has the expertise to make it happen for you. Visit them at cobaltcreed.com. And now a few short words from our other sponsors. Forward Solutions Group is successfully driving companies to succeed where others have failed. Are you looking to start a factory? Optimize your existing factory, streamline your production, or take your team to the next level? Whatever your needs are, Forward has a solution for you. Reach out to Ben at forwardsolutionsgroup.com. Halleck Ltd. has a long history of innovation in cold form steel manufacturing and producing innovative precision roll forming technology for customers throughout the United States and the world. Check out their machine buyer's guide for off-site modular construction or fast build construction with light steel for framing. Go to their website, halleckltd.com. Brought to you by Greatech, one of the largest Autodesk partners globally and software developer of the PowerPack Advanced Design, Advanced Steel, and the StruxSoft product line. The complete solution to automate wood and light gauge steel framing, design, and documentation all the way out to CNC output, model, design, and manufacture with StruxSoft. Learn more at StruxSoftSolutions.com. All right, again, a big thank you to all of our supporting members and to all of these members below that are also supporting Dave Cooper Live each and every day so we can keep bringing you all of these informative conversations. So without further ado, let's bring on my friend, Amy Marks, the queen of prefab. Amy, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Dave. How are you?
It is awesome. We were just talking earlier, like, Amy, how come I don't see you more than once a year, or our paths aren't even crossing in the airports? We're like in two opposite directions, but I love what you're doing, and it's awesome to have you back on.
Thanks. It's been a busy year, I think. It's been a busy last 6 months, even.
Well, it has been, and it's going to get even busier with the shows and everything else that we have coming up right now. But before we get into this, Amy, why don't you give everybody just a quick summary of who you are, what you're all about, where you're at, and then let's hop into what you're doing today.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm now the Senior Vice President of Compass Data Centers. We build data centers differently, and we are owner-developers of hyperscale data center campuses, single tenants mostly, and it's been great. I mean, I feel like Chris Crosby running the company, he's grown the company from scratch to what it is today, a multi-billion-dollar company, and I get to work every day with Nancy Novak. But in the innovation sector side of things, we're working on kind of three areas, I would say. One is the way we make our buildings, so industrialized construction. The second pillar is probably sustainability is also our responsibility and innovation. And then the third pillar is really human-centric initiatives. So safety is part of innovation, as well as diversity and inclusion. And then any kind of technology that supports the company in any of those areas really is our focus. So for me, it's super exciting, super fun, and I get to do great, really impactful things every day and work with amazing people. And the culture, to be honest, is the greatest culture of any company I've ever been at. So it's been fantastic coming here.
So you've gone basically from a practitioner to the owner developer side in one of the fastest growing prefab sectors out there right now, and that is building data centers. How did this journey happen for you?
You know, it's kind of funny. Actually, I knew Chris Crosby years ago when I first started Excite. I think he was my third customer, to be honest. And I went and worked with him on some stuff, like to figure out how to prefabricate some things. And then Nancy Novak was at Balfour Beatty, which I was also under contract with them for a long time. And sort of they got together, and then we've always been friendly over the years. And I've been a friend to Compass, and guys like from DLB who we work with now, David Quirk, and all the great stuff he's done with liquid cooling. So he is the, sort of the custodian of our standard prototype design at Compass. And so it's like everyone I know from everywhere around the world sort of came together at Compass, was already together, and some people joined, and it just seemed I couldn't see it in the past, but the fact that I ended up here was the perfect place, I think, for me to end up and work with people that I just have so much respect for. And honestly, you're right, like it's booming here, and the fact that, like, they've been a big believer in prefabrication from day one of course, that was a big draw for me to come here as well.
I am going to jump off a cliff here and say that data centers are booming because of the amount of technology that's coming out. And I would imagine AI is driving some huge pushes in the data center world for you guys. Tell us a little bit about what is a data center, like the types that you guys are working on. Are they all types, and how are they deployable?
So mostly, I mean, again, we own and develop data centers for those campuses. Those are the buildings where all the servers are at, where I always like to say, if you like using your phone and getting information fast, that's one of the things that's allowing that to happen, is that there are data centers built. So the digital infrastructure that is, interwoven into our world is sort of behind the scenes. And I think people don't realize that if you want anything in life where you're exchanging data or you need data, those data centers are critical infrastructure here, in our world. But I think we really do believe in leaving the world in a better place. And I feel that, one of the reasons I was so attracted to coming here is data centers at Compass are built differently, which, changes the ecosystem we work in and the supply chain partners we work with, which then trickles into some other buildings. And, hopefully other data centers are built differently and we have that impact. And then trickling down to like maybe hospitals and, colleges, and housing is built different because we're really sharing in some of that same supply chain. So it really does trickle down into the world being a more sustainable, better place that's building things, I think, just down the line differently. And, when you have a big momentum going and you have a lot of attention to one area, it's good you get resources and attention, and you get the experts into those spaces that can really teach the ecosystem the right behaviors and the right, the right way to do things that I would say
Right.
trickle down into some other areas. That's my hope. And I know it's the hope, honestly, of Compass. It's the passion of Compass.
Right. Senior Vice President of Innovation seems like a really big job. So tell me a little bit about what you do. You're sniffing around every corner for new ideas. Are you meeting every startup out there? You're pulling new ideas out of established industry leaders. What exactly is your day job?
I would say yes, yes, and yes. I mean, so the good news is I feel like, we're really big believers in incremental innovation. So I'm not always or ever really looking for like something that's just changed the world. Like, of course, like we see those things, but we truly do believe that things change in an incremental fashion. And so and I know my colleagues in innovation are looking for things that make changes to what we're doing, small changes that are easy to absorb and consume, but that allow people to move forward and keep moving and progressing. So it's like hundreds or thousands of little 1% incremental increases really does move the needle, and easier as well than just like looking for the one big, grand
Yeah.
slam. I think so. I do a lot of things. I mean, it's definitely like going out to shows and meeting with people. I've always been a fan of walking every exhibit hall and learning. So I read a tremendous amount all the time, and it's a little harder to take every single phone call like I've always been. And I really trying. If I haven't responded to you, I'm real sorry, but I'm working so hard to do it. But yeah, I think we're trying to really figure out ways to move the needle in places that have the biggest impact. Like, what's the 20% of things we can do that makes, the 80% of impact? Like fewer things that can make a big
Right.
impact.
Yeah. The 80-20 rule, right?
Yeah.
So
Pareto principle for sure.
what is so when we talk about industrialized construction, what does that mean with data centers? A lot of our audience knows what modular construction is, panelized construction, but it's a little bit different in this instance when we talk about industrialized construction. What does that exactly mean when it comes to building data centers or managing data centers?
Well, I mean, look, there's always the, complete volumetric modular data centers, right? And we actually own a company that does some of those at Quantum. But when you're talking about the big hyperscale campuses, it's basically, the way that you understand other buildings. So it's like whether we're using, precast, or we're thinking about, multi-trade assemblies for power and cooling. Our kit of parts is pretty extensive already when we're talking about the way in which the power and cooling and the white space breaks down for data centers. So I think we're just looking at anything and everything that makes sense to do in a multi-trade fashion or in our structural system, but things that just make it easier and faster to build, right? Because we need capacity these days. We're at a pretty critical place in our infrastructure that digital infrastructure is critical for our daily lives, and it's almost to that place where you must have it, and speed is key for sure, but not at the not giving up quality and really total cost of ownership. Like we want to make sure that we hold on to these data centers for a long time. So I love the fact that our team looks at things from a lifetime perspective and understanding, like, if I never have to change that valve out, I'll pay more for it now than getting something cheaper today that I have to switch out 3 times over the next 100 years. So I think they really, the culture here dictates a lot of the ways in which we see how prefabrication works with us. But it's a lot of assemblies. It's a lot of multi-trade assemblies and single trade as well. But it's really about thinking things differently. I would say the biggest difference, Dave, in reality is that the prototype, our prototype, which is all of our buildings are based off of our prototype, everything's fungible, right? So we're constantly looking at how something standard can be adjusted when needed, but we want to come up with something that can serve many purposes and is fungible in nature, so it can be customized for any need. And I think that mindset has been definitely different than in any place I've ever been. They've really walked the walk, not just talk the talk around things like, the manufacturing mindset or standardization, closely coupled partnerships they have with people, the way they treat people. I think the way we treat people, different pronouns now. But I think it's just different, right? It's everything you wanted it to be in one place.
Who's the customer for you guys, and what is the territory? I mean, are you guys global, or are you just here in the United States? And if somebody wanted to work with Compass Data Centers, like, who would that be?
Well, we are a global company. We do have overseas data centers, and in fact, I'll be flying out to our data center in Milan this week with Nancy
Rough
Novak.
business.
No, it's so hard. No, but don't threaten me with free time. I always say I'd like to be in my house if I could once in a while. But yeah, I think we have a global business. I think the people that we work with, are the obvious customers, probably, I would say, the big hyperscalers are our biggest customers. But yeah, I think we're always looking for partners that really want to act like partners, really want to be treated like partners and want to act like partners differently. And that's actually at Advancing Prefab. That's some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about. It's not enough just to want to win at industrialized construction, that there are some environmental things that the owner and others can do to make this more of a win-win over time. And I think that's what's really been missing. Not that you can't prefabricate anything and everything. It's just how do you behave in that environment, and how do you create partnerships where you're doing things multiple times instead of just once. And it's, all the things that I think are necessary are driven a lot by the owner, which is one of the reasons why I'm happy to come on this side of the business to impact more change, I think.
So you're working with Nancy Novak, right? You talk a lot about culture, and I say on this show, every company starts with culture, because without it, you're not going very far. You also talk about mentorship. You're a big mentor for a lot of people, a lot of young ladies, and just youth in general in this industry. Let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about professional development and how important that is, along with the culture that you create within these organizations.
I mean, honestly, I find myself so grateful and so lucky to work with Nancy Novak. We've been friends, obviously, for a long time. And when she asked me to consider coming over here, the first thing I said to her was like, I want to make sure I can provide value, for you over there. And so we workshopped some things and figured out to make sure that I could provide value. But I feel so grateful. It's not just Nancy. The culture here at Compass is really the fuel that, fuels the rocket ship here, they say. And it's true. It's very different. Things are different here. The respect for people, the respect for, new ideas, for the ways in which people interact here is so different. It's almost impossible to describe. But I think, just the development in the people that are here, and the camaraderie, and how, again, like, just not just for Compassers treating Compassers that way, but the way they talk with their customers and the way that we treat our partners. And it's just different. And I think from a place for me, look, at our age, I think, Dave, we can go anywhere and work anywhere. And I really believe that Compass was the right place for me, mostly because of the culture and what their mission was to, be able to take that manufacturing mindset and create data centers differently that are going to, make the world a better place. And I think that that's really important for me. And I think it's unlike other places where, look, I consulted with a lot of the biggest owners in the world, and where you hear a lot of this stuff. I mean, we, not they, I have to change my pronouns. We eat, drink, sleep, dream about how to make the world a better place, and how to treat each other better, and work with our partners better. And that is really true. So I feel grateful and lucky every day when I wake up and really get to work here. So
I would imagine that recruiting the younger generation to come work in an environment like this is much easier than getting the younger generation to show up on a job site or in a typical factory. Is that accurate?
It is accurate, because look, they call it Compass weird, right? We call it Compass weird. And it's true. Everyone here is a little quirky, a little bit weird. You got to be a little bit weird to want to do things differently. So it's not really hard. In fact, I don't even know if we have any job openings, to be honest, at this time. And most people really want their friends to come work here, or colleagues, because it's so different. I mean, we have a construction management program right now that we're running. A construction manager program has 95% women in the program.
95%.
Yeah. Like, when you think about that, and we have we're working with like almost all veterans and operating our data centers. So I think those are the kinds of things that, we put our money where our mouth is. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to really come here. Right. So even on our innovation team, if I think about it, the majority of us are women actually on the innovation team. And our senior vice president, our vice president of safety, senior vice president of innovation, chief innovation officer, all women. So I think, it's just different. And I think that the development here of the senior leadership team, and the executive leadership team, they put a lot into that, as far as wanting people to be their authentic selves, but also accepting other people's authentic selves, right? It's not just about, they're really creating a lot of air cover for people to be unique here, I think. And that's important, right? That's what I think young people are looking for. They don't want to just go to a place that has a cool mission. A lot of people have a cool mission, but are you living the mission every day? And are you allowing people to impact the mission and participate in the mission? And, help you adjust the mission as things are changing. So I think we have an internship program. I just interviewed some interns actually this week, which I'm excited about. I think that's great. But yeah, it's definitely different. And I've been around the block a
Yeah.
lot, like in this world. But and I think my friends are just like every time they see me now, they're like, "Man, you look so happy. You're so
You do look happy.
like I think yeah, real happy. Like what's not to be happy about? Like so that
Yeah.
I think is definitely a change. And who doesn't want to work with Nancy Novak and Chris Crosby every day?
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Well, and also my guess is the people that you're bringing in or the people within the company, part of that culture is having a professional growth strategy as well, right? Where are we going and how do we get there? And that's part of the mentorship program.
Yes, I have never done more cultural learning in my life than at Compass Data Centers. I mean, I think I spent the first 90 days not making any decisions, just learning, going in and finding things out. And yeah, I think mentoring is a big part of it, right? So, I believe in not just mentorship, but sponsorship. And I do mentor, men and women of all ages and things like that. But I do think that you got to find a place that you fit in. I tell all my friends that, like just a friend who was interviewing yesterday at a job. I'm like, don't sell yourself into taking that job. You've got to be happy in that job every single day. And I think I've taken my own advice here, which is great, hopeful. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You know what? It's so true. And I say it all the time. Like Dave Cooper Live is a hobby that went terribly wrong. Who would have thought it would have done what it was? But we were just having fun with it and we
Yeah,
love doing it. And that's what it's all about. That's how you can get up and keep doing it day in and day out. So
absolutely.
all right, so we're talking about mentorship. We're talking about professional development. We have an event coming up, Advancing Prefabrication. I'm putting it up on the screen here in Phoenix, Arizona, and you have some of the leading experts in the world speaking at this event. And who would have thought? There's Amy right front and center on this. But you're also an ambassador for this event as well, and a main person. Talk to us a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. And that's Arth that works with me over there. So I love seeing Arth up on there, and Nancy Novak could be talking as well. But yeah, I mean, the show for me has been an evolution over time. That a lot of work gets done at this show and people do a lot of business at this show. And throughout the year, that's the part I love hearing about. When people ask me about the show, they're like, man, I get all my business at the show all year long. And I say it every year because every year it's true. And I know that people make a big commitment to either attend the show and certainly to exhibit at the show, or, even the speakers and how much effort it takes to put together panels. But the show itself is, people just keep coming back and coming back. This year, I will tell you, you'll see a lot of speakers that you've never seen before. So it was a big push this year to get speakers that no one has ever heard from before, and that are new topics. So I think it's not the same as it's been in the last few years. So I think we've been trying to bring up some other speakers and some other people to come, and that I think we've been pretty successful this year at doing that.
No, well, you definitely have been successful. Did you know, Amy, that this is proclaimed to be the world's largest and longest running meeting for prefab experts ever?
I mean, I don't know if I didn't write or say that, but I will say it's definitely the largest. How's that? I don't know if it's the longest running,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
would say
Well,
it's
I'm
the
going
largest.
with it. I mean,
Oh,
that's what I
good.
read. So, hey,
I
listen,
mean,
the internet's right about everything, Amy.
it's true, like confidently inaccurate. Let's go with that right now.
Yeah,
But
confidently
no,
inaccurate.
I think that I do think the accurate part of that statement is that it is the largest show for
Yeah.
prefabrication in the world. And for that type of show, it is probably the longest running show at that level of depth and breadth and things like that. So I mean, but again, like it's not just about being the largest show. It's like the right people are at this show. So,
Mhm.
if you ever look over the list of who's there, it's a ton of decision makers. It's like anyone that runs anything at any of these companies, from like there's so many vice presidents and presidents. We even do the CEO vice president
Right.
day on Monday. And usually we get about, I don't know, 70, 80 people, 60, 80 people at that. And that come a day early just to talk to each other. But the tours sell out in about 3 seconds. I can't even get in the tours on those days myself sometimes. And, the workshops are fantastic. I do think it's evolved over time. And the industry day, there's a data center day on the
Yeah.
last day that's sold out. I think like tons of people come to these. But yeah, I think it's a place where people get to meet each other, see each other. And it's like a little bit of old home week, but there's so many new people there every year that just getting to meet everybody. And, it's like the hallway of podcasts now.
Right.
And like I can't even get to every party. That's how I know it's a good show. It's like I get invited, I can't even get to every party I'm invited to. And that's a good sign, right? It's like it
Yeah,
means
yeah.
there's a lot going on there and stuff. So
Well, we host our cocktail hours at these events as well after the show's over, so we don't interfere with anybody. So if anybody is interested, there you go, Vegas and Phoenix.
wait,
Hey,
hold on. Let me see. I gotta do my
yeah, see if it works. Hopefully, it works.
Am I invited? Am I invited, David?
You're yes, yes, yes. You're always invited.
Awesome, awesome.
So we're going to be hosting one at the International Builder Show in Las Vegas. And this is just a registration link. So if you're an executive, CEO, decision maker within your company, and you want to come hang out with some of the experts like Amy and others who attend our events, even the senior advisor to the Secretary of Housing has been known to show up at our events, which has been great. Just click that QR code. We'd love to put you on the list if there's room available. So that's what that's for. All right, Amy, let's talk about events a little bit further, right? Because there is also, how do you register for this event? Because registration is opening and it's only 10 days away. Can you believe that? 10 days. I'll be in the heat again. Yes.
Shocking. I have to remember my discount code. I think it's AM prefab is my discount code. If you still want to register, I believe that's my discount code. If not, shoot me up, hit me up on LinkedIn.
Amy's giving the discount code.
Yeah, I think it's important. I love the fact that there's still space here for anyone to show up and come. And like, again, like I look across the speakers and I see lots of people of color, lots of women, lots of people of all ages. The gender diversity is there. We really try hard to make that happen every year. But yeah, sign up, register, and I would love to see everybody out there and, grab me, say hi for sure. Grab Nancy Novak and Arth. We'll all be there. And I think Chris Yah is also going to be with us from our design side.
Well, and we love it too. In Advancing Prefab, you guys have been wonderful to us. We've been a media partner now for the last few years. So thank you for that opportunity to be able to share all these details and also attend the event so we can put a spotlight on it as well.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, Amy, we only have a few minutes left. I know you have to run. You shared your passion, outside of prefab alone. My daughters play hockey. Your daughters are also into rugby and sports, right? You played rugby. Every time I see you, you have some professional rugby player hanging out with you or the head of the league hanging out with you. What do you see as the connection between youth sports in leadership and especially in our industry? Because you got to be tough to be in construction, a little tougher than the norm, right? So talk me through that a little bit.
Definitely true. I actually am a board member now at the U.S. Women's Rugby Foundation, and we support the leadership of the girls and women's rugby sport. We support, the coaches, the admins, and the referees in the game. I don't know if you know this, but our Olympic team came in third, won the bronze at the Olympics in Paris. And just so you know, on stage at Advancing Prefab, Jenny Cronish, who was in the World Cup last rugby team, who is on the national team now. She's actually at NFP, an Aon company, an insurance for all your insurance needs. She'll be up on stage as we talk about all the things that need to change in our space. So she's 6'2" and she's awesome. You cannot miss her. She'll be on main stage with Nancy Novak and myself and some guys from Vertiv and Schneider and Gina Hadi as well. But I think, look, at the end of the day, rugby is a fantastic place to go get some people for workforce development. RK Industries and HPD and Compass just did a workforce development event in Denver, and we had three of the World Cup players and two captains from the World Cup. Caramelli Fahe came out, and Jenny, and and also we had Naya Tapper and Lauren Doyle and Alicia Washington with the XV Foundation. These are all definitely, and there's the World Cup coming to England. I have tickets to the finals, just so you know. But I think, look, our women and girls are great in sport, and they are local to where your construction companies are and your architecture and engineering companies. They're tough, they're smart. A lot of them went to college. Some of them don't go to college and are out there. I know that RK just created a new program to get people to come and work there in the rugby community, where they'll give you a little bit of time off to go play if you're internationally playing for the season, or even now in the WER if you're playing here in the US. So they're looking for professional rugby players, especially on the women's side, to come and work at RK. You can get your apprenticeship there paid for, and as well, they'll help you get through a construction management program as an athlete, which to get your bachelor's. And we were really lucky to just go there and do a workforce development program. I think we crashed the job site at RK Industries, no joke, right after the event with all the women rugby players looking to work there. So I think it takes that. Look, I always say, like, I love diversity in our place, but the answer can't be keep going back to our middle schools. Like,
Yeah.
we need people now. And these athletes, definitely the U.S. Women's Rugby Foundation is supporting those athletes and those referees and coaches that need jobs right now. I mean, there are plenty of people. I know my friend Quiva just got a job. We posted up she was a professional rugby player. She's working now in the space, and anything I can do to get tough, strong, smart women into our space and by the way, they also need jobs. Like, we need them and they need jobs. So I feel like it's a pretty good place to go after both the college level, kids and brand them at that level. But man, we've got tons of women that would love to work in the trades and other things that are
Yeah.
rugby players. And please, like, I feel like you guys, we gotta reach out to the right girls, whether they're hockey girls and women.
Hockey girls are tough too, like they got,
Right? Like,
it's the
we'll
right
take
mentality.
them, right?
Yeah.
We know how to wear PPE, and like I always say, my girls know how to use the porta potty, and they're okay getting dirty on the job site. They're playing in mud all day long, and they're strong. So tap
Right.
into this, I think, for us, and definitely it's important for us because we are at critical skills shortages, and only 3% women still in trades. So I think these are the women that you want to go after, and girls you want to go after are the girls that are playing sport, especially for your leadership, right? Like, all
That's right.
C-suite. I think it's like, what, 95% of all C-suite women played, college sports or been involved in organized sports. So you got to go for the right groups of people. You can't just keep going after the job fairs and going to the middle schools. So
Let me touch on a personal note and we'll wrap this up. Right. So,
yeah,
being a dad of twin 16-year-old daughters that are playing competitive ice hockey, and I think I may have told you this, but they are now ranked in the top 10 in the country in tier 2 hockey. So they're having this amazing year. But with that, female athletes are so incredibly impressionable at this age, right? What would you recommend to any coaches or mentors out there to keep them inspired, not just as individuals, but as a team? Because girls don't learn the same way as
no,
boys do. You're not smacking them upside the head, telling, hey, get your head out of your back head, right? It's different.
it really is. It's interesting. Again, that we have a conference. The U.S. Women's Rugby Foundation has a conference
Yeah.
every year to address just that. How do you coach girls and women differently? How do you referee? What are some things you need to know? And yeah, I think always, it's funny. My friend, I had him coach our team when I was playing. By the way, my daughter's also in the U16, U18 development pool for the USA high performance program.
Love it.
But, I watch her and I'm like, the coaches that get the best out of them are the ones that recognize that she's a whole person, right? It's not just about how she acts on the field and what she does on the field, but it kills me when I hear my daughter. This is a true story. She just got some feedback, but on when she was on a team, and like, you hear the feedback they get, and like, it's still, we're giving girls feedback like, try to speak softer, or try to, not speak up as much. And it's like, and then they're not getting it from the men only, it's
Right.
women who aren't used to that kind of leadership. It's like, I see some of the things that get written in some of these, and then she'll get stuff like, love that you are like speaking out and that the answers, that you raise your hand. It's like, it comes to me sometimes and is like, I don't really know what to do, right? Like, what is the right thing? I think girls are just different. And I think not just how men coaches treat them, but how the women coaches see women in leadership roles is also so important. If you've not run into leadership in a particular way, be open to that. Some people are different types of leaders, right? That's why it's called style flexing. And I think you just got to really treat kids and especially girls, as whole human beings.
Yeah.
And I think respect for them and motivation and inspiration. Listen, Coach Caramelli Fahe, she's a World Cup captain, is my daughter's coach, one of her coaches. And I've never seen my daughter more confident when, she's been coached by her and Naya Tapper from the Olympics team, one of the Olympians. It's like, there's just a different level of communication that is necessary for young women. And that, what I would say, that's true even in our space, right? Like, even in the construction space, how you talk to people, you want to treat them as whole humans, right? Like, not just as frontliners doing their job. Like, people are whole humans, whether they're holding tools or they're legal or they're HR. Everybody is a different kind of person, and our communication style really matters. So.
Yeah, it really does matter. All right, Amy, before we just go to a couple quick comments, is there anything that I left out or anything that's near and dear to your heart that you want to put out there to everybody?
Man, I feel like Advancing Prefab is such a great show. It's so near and dear to my heart, as you know. And I think so many like industry stars have like come out of that show, and I see them at other shows and still at Advancing Prefab. And it's like, we want to keep bringing and making more influencers in the space. And if you want to get up on stage at any of the shows that I do, especially Advanced Prefab, you want to talk and you want to be known. Like, I want that next layer of, like, the next crop of like influencers and people that are in our space that have something to say and want to change the world. So like, just because you see somebody on stage doesn't mean you can't get on stage, and I'm sure you have something great to say, and just remember that. And I feel like, please don't hesitate to reach out. I always want to give people a voice in the space and make sure that, we're mentoring the right people and getting people exposure and things like that. So that would be the only thing I would add.
Well, thank you. I think that's very important to add. All right, we're not going to be able to get to all the comments here today, but let's just put a couple quick ones up here. Nick Massey, Amy, what is your recommendation for both soft and technical skills for partners to work on? Compass Weird.
I love Nick Massey and Melissa McEwen and Sally and all those guys over there at IDG Group. I mean, the recommendation is that you can't actually, get anywhere without being transparent with people, without being honest with people. I think without opening up your mind that there are new ways of doing things. And I think just being okay with where you're at, the level of where you're at. And I know the assessments are a great tool for that. It's okay to say, I'm great at this, I'm not so great at that, right? And I want to work on this, and I have a plan to get better at that. So I think there's humility that's necessary, transparency that's necessary in the soft skills. And I also think just, some bold ideas, like in just being able to communicate well with each other. But I love that question, Nick.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Oh, I see the queen and the red shoe. Where's the red shoe, Amy? I mean, listen.
It's right over there.
I know you remodeled. So, hey, Sarah, thank you. I know you made some other comments throughout, so appreciate that. In fact, here's one. Looking forward to attending Advancing Prefabrication for the first time with a few other members of the PMP team. And we love Amy.
Love the guys at Pitt Meadows Plumbing. They're amazing. I always do their Future of Work conference up in April in Vancouver because it's so amazing. I mean, those are all those pictures you see where they light the prefab up like artwork. That's at the PMP shop. And truly the way they do business is about the human first. So I just love going to their show. And I think just watching how they've evolved their work processes is unbelievable. It's one of my favorite places to go visit factory-wise in the world, really.
Love it. Well, thank you for commenting and letting us know you're out there. Henry Mickelberg. What's up, Henry? I can totally drive to Milan, he says. All right. Well,
like, that'd be great, Henry. Come on over. Like, I think you should. But I love Henry. He's fantastic. And they have some great stuff they're doing. Yeah, it's a great, listen, our world is so small. And I think that's one of the reasons why, look, you never know. You're going to end up working for people you've known for 15 years one day. And there are guys here that I've been here with in other places. So I think, it's a small world. And that's why we've got to be respectful of other people and really be your authentic self at all times, because you never know when you're going to run into them again somewhere. So I think that's right. Good.
All right, here's the last comment, and then we're going to wrap it up, Amy, because I know you've got to run. Tiffany McCall, good to see you, Tiffany. I hope all is well. Dave Cooper, thank you for continuing to provide valuable resources and cutting-edge industry knowledge. My pleasure. Tiffany was a very big supporter of the offsite industry and still is. And hey, they build modular construction all through Pennsylvania as well. So good to see you, Tiffany. Thank you.
Girl, I'm right near you, Tiffany. So yeah, I think I love walking factories. By the way, you know that about me. I will put that out there too, Dave. Like, if you have a cool factory that you want me to come and visit, like, I love to visit.
Let's go.
Back in the day, like to come and see. Like, I miss factory for sure. Parts of it, not all of it, but parts of it. But yeah, definitely open to going and seeing some cool places that are doing some innovative things on our side of the business.
Well, there is. And I got some great stuff coming out where you should go. One of my most favorite ones, British Offsite in England. So if you go to England, let me know. I will set you up with Sean Weston, the owner and CEO.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Are you? There's so much stuff. And I'll be in Finland in a couple of weeks and back in Laos. Let's travel, Amy. I think we could really rock it out there. But the only thing is, you can't hijack my show again. You always seem to hijack my show. And I'll be at a show and Amy grabs my mic and all of a sudden I'm standing there going, okay, it's the Amy show.
The takeover. Fun. It's the takeover. Didn't we do that for real? We did a takeover show.
Yeah, you did. Right. You did. It was amazing. Show. Amy, thank you so much for coming on with us today. I know you got a lot going on around the world. So very, very grateful to you. We're very grateful to all of our supporting members. And if you'd like to have your logo up there, hey, listen, it's only $100 a month. I'll put your logo up there and we'll give you some shout outs, but that's the only way we can stay impartial in this industry. Nobody tells us who to have on the show, where to go or what to show. And that's one of the reasons that makes the show so much fun, because you're getting the real deal from everybody out here. And that's why we do it live.
That's true.
All right. Amy, thank you. You're very welcome. Stay right there. Make sure you thank these supporting members as well. Amy, I'll come back to you right after the end of the show. Thanks, everybody. Bye now. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.